everyone. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Mehran, and I have a site on YouTube, The One Point, and on TikTok, Mind Seeks, I guess. Is that what it is? Let me see. I think it's called Truth Seeking Mind. Okay, there we go. And I thought we'll share a few moments together tonight. If you have any questions in regards to relationships, breakups, how to move on, what's the role of your psyche, inner movement of the psyche in that process, and things to do with thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, questions and discussions about that, and also OCD and OCD subsets such as HOCD and intrusive thoughts, repetitive thoughts, and so forth and so on, or so on and so forth. Either way. So we are running a concurrent live stream with YouTube, and so we're still waiting for our YouTube friends to show up. Usually they show up from the other parts of the world, since the timing right now here in Vancouver is, what is it, 10 minutes past midnight. And so it's pretty late for North Americans. However, India, Europe, and New Zealand, Australia, Hong Kong, Middle Eastern countries, Iran, and so on, are usually join us when they find us. So in the meantime, our TikTok friends can go on and fire up any questions that they might have about the topics that we talked about, and we'll have a little fun. In the meantime, while you're thinking about it, too many in the meantimes, but while you're thinking about it, I warm up my tea. I'll be right back. All right. We are back. Of course, I mean, I am back because there's only one of me. So let's see what we have here. And Nope says, she left me and I feel like I could give her more. That's why I can't let her go. Well, look, if she has left you, it's not because you didn't give her more. It's because she had other plans. So stop blaming yourself. If she would really had the intention of staying and fix things up, then perhaps you guys would have had a dialogue and discuss what's concerning either one of you. If that has happened and you expressed your willingness and ability to do more, I don't know what more means in your case, but whatever it is that you think it's called more, and she still didn't pay attention to it, then you should stop blaming yourself and move on with your life. Life is not summed up in one relationship or one woman, and if you're a woman, one man, or whatever your case may be. So this was an experience. Everything has its own duration. Life is a journey. This journey is on a river. It keeps moving. And as it moves, things that you see on the bank, it has its own duration. As you pass on, you'll pass that opportunity, that experience. But it doesn't mean just because you passed that one, it didn't work, or you didn't stop, or you didn't jump out of the boat, go on the shore and experience that from close, whatever it was, it doesn't mean there wouldn't be a better one or another opportunity down the road. So you just hold tight and get reacquainted with yourself, make yourself a better version of yourself, take care of your fitness, take care of your money-making, economic challenges, take care of your whole mentality as far as, mental health and physical health. And eventually you'll run into other opportunities that you'd be ready. But trying to stick with something that it takes two to tango and she has decided not to want to dance, you can't force them. You ask a girl, would you like to dance? She says, yes, you will. She says, no. If she says yes in the middle of the dance, she doesn't want to dance anymore, or my foot hurts or whatever, you could honor that. Women have the right to change their mind more than once and anytime they want. And as a gentleman, as a man, you will honor that. So if someone changes their mind, doesn't want to continue being in a relationship with you, you respect that. Why? because you should start thinking that it is her that is missing a nice guy like you, rather than thinking that without her, I'm nothing. That's the problem. That's where girls don't want to be with someone who thinks without them, they're nothing. You got to be somebody because everybody wants to have a backer. And you're supposed to be that rock for them. So if they decide that they don't want to be with you, so be it. Have respect for yourself. And it's not all about giving. What about her? What was she giving you? Could she not giving you more? Or are you thinking that only guys supposed to be giving what they can and more? Nope says, thank you. She said she knows that I love her and that I was trying, but not enough. Well, then she can go and get enough. I have a bit on TikTok on this channel. Perhaps you've seen it. These are the kind of women that never heard the word enough, never think anything is enough. Why? Because their worth and value and confidence comes from what they gain and the attention of the other men. And when they get attention of one man, and that's not enough because their worth and value doesn't come from their own accomplishments from within themselves, then it's never enough because they get used to that attention, and that attention doesn't have the novelty anymore. Now for themselves to feel good again, the dopamine's run out, they got to go and find somebody else's attention. Those kind of people you don't want to go around anyhow. So the fact that she says it wasn't enough, that's your cue that actually you got to go count your stars. That woman was not supposed to be in your life, and only to teach you a lesson what is a good difference between a good woman and a woman that cannot make things happen and is there to take, and that's how she gets pumped up. And that's not the girl you want to spend the rest of your life or even 2 years with, maybe 2 months even. And user 5760518743684. Okay, there we go. So tips on dealing with depersonalization, derealization, feeling like you never return to normal. Well, you can use the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz in such incidents, that the feeling like you never return to normal, you said. Then you say, I feel I'm not turning into normal. You relabeled it. The thought showed up and you relabeled, you interpreted it. Then you say, I'm going to reframe it. Will I never turn back into normal? Or is it the feeling that I will never turn back to normal? Obviously, it's a feeling because it's very stupid. What is normal? Normal. Everybody is normal. There's no standard for being normal. So, of course, I'll be turned into normal. I am normal. This, what I am, is normal. But intrusive thoughts from the brain and reminding you, you're not the brain. Brain is not you. So, what it's trying to conjure up, what it's trying to suggest to you, it's got no credibility because brain is not smart. Brain is stupid. Brain is not intellect. There is no center of intellect was localized when Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, having performed surgery on the brain thousands of times in their career, have never been able to localize intelligence center, math center, compassionate center, consciousness center. None of that. They could localize sight center, occipital point. They would manipulate it and the patient would see a little bit of light, or maybe a motoring that they would stimulate a part of the brain and a limb would move, or speech center. So they could localize speech center, movement motoring center. They could localize sight center. They could localize lots of little things, but they could never localize intelligence center, intellect center. So thinking that you're the brain and brain is not you is the beginning of making sure that you don't fall for the garbage that the brain utters. Brain is an organ. Its job is to make thoughts. It makes 80, 90 thoughts a day. You don't have time to interpret every one of them. Most of them go by the wayside. You don't even notice them. Why? Because there is a lever called caudate nucleus in the striatum in midbrain basal ganglia that actually is designed to shut down intrusive thoughts. When it goes out of whack and doesn't do its job, the intrusive thought suggestions of the brain, which is outrageous and it's got nothing to do with you, it's just spitting it out, it won't disappear because caudate nucleus, the lever, is not shutting things down. When it doesn't disappear, you figure it must mean something. It's not going away. It must be a message. No, it's not. It just means that your brain is going wacko, just like your intestine that gets diarrhea, they got to go fix it. Brain is also needs to be understood how you can rewire it and bring it back to its default setting. So once you have told yourself that, am I not turning normal, or is it a feeling that I won't turn normal? You relabeled it. Then once you recognize these intrusive thoughts, these suggestions that is bogus, and you interpret it, relabeled it, reframed it, now you refocus. Once you know this is bogus, because you just recognize it's just like you're walking in the street, you see something, dark and long over there in the corner of the wall or something, and you say, what is that? That looks like something weird. And you say, is that really something weird? Or do I think it's weird? So you go closer and you say, oh, yeah, it's something weird. It's not you. It's a dog shit. So at that moment, you've already interpreted what you saw. You've recognized what it is. So no need to think about it or wonder about it. So now it's time to refocus back to where you were going, to your destination, to your walking or whatever it is that you were doing. So now in this situation, once you've relabeled and reframed it, you refocus your mind, your attention from this to something simple, listening to music, drinking some tea or coffee, talking to your friends, taking a walk. You show the brain that I'm not going to exchange energy with you and discuss this, whatever it is that is irrelevant to me, with you any further than when I recognize that it's just nonsense. And I have these techniques to recognize it, as Dr. Schwartz 4-step explains. I have a video on my YouTube that shows the 4 steps, even on TikTok, I think, it shows the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz, and I've explained it in detail how to implement it. Now, so let's go to so it would be lovely if you guys would honor me with the same protocol that we have on YouTube, and that is M for male, F for female, or however you signify your inclination or gender, and then age, how old you are, and the city you're watching this program, the country or city. That gives me a little bit of background. Your gender, your age, the kind of age that you are, that I can connect with you, and also the city that you're from or the country. That gives me a little bit of a cultural background, so I can understand you while I can't see you and hear your voices and all that. So, having said that, let's see who else is here. It says to me there are a few questions. One says, great response. I feel OCD does its best when you have a victim mentality. Well, usually when you have OCD in general has a roots of in search of psychological security. You see, since we were a child, or rather, let's go further, a million years ago, security has always been important for us because we didn't want the dinosaurs eat us, or wild animals, or other clans from other villages or whatnot come and take our woman or chicken or whatever it is. And I'm not putting chicken and woman in the same category. Don't come out and be politically motivated. Let's talk normal instead of all this bullshit of you can't even say anything. So they've always been interested in security. But with the advent of so-called civilization and so on, the security kind of was solved, physical security, because at the time maybe a couple of guys would get together, come and attack this village and take their women and chicken and whatever it is that they had, whatever little they had at the time. And then these guys would have to go and find another 2 people to, gather up and go and attack the other village, and the other village said, "Oh, these guys brought two, so we bring three." They get three, and as they grew, the destruction power grew as well. So this unity actually caused more destruction. But eventually, when there was some kind of a rule and civilization, and some kind of a dictator came along and got them all under this umbrella, so to speak, or fear, they no longer were worried about, like we had police forces and all that, about the physical security as much. But still, there was another kind of security that they were looking for, and that was psychological security, which is unattainable, but we always have been in pursuit of it since God knows when. Now, when you're a child, this feeling of being secure physically is usually provided with parents and so on. But the things that are not tangible, like being able to be assured that this lifestyle that you had, the food that you had, the comfort of the home that you had, that your parents that were there would always remain. And because you didn't have that, you could not secure or be sure of that security, you would create things in your head because you would want to have that assurance. There was no way to give that to yourself. So you'd conjure up some kind of a elusive entity out there that you would kind of make it barter that if I touch the light switch 5 times, then my father wouldn't die, or he would come home safe, or my mother would be this and that. So it starts from that need for psychological security to feel secure, not physically, but both physically and mentally. And then it goes from, and it's always a barter deal between, like, I do this thing, so my exam would be go well, or I don't know, put my head to the wall a few times, maybe that girl will pay attention to me. All these things have this kind of a background, and of course there's a lot more to it, but I guess we don't have that much time here. So you all know that I have a site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, where you can make an appointment with us for us to have a chat one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you, depending on, and also I have a possibility for a group session that maybe 10 people or 3 people, at least needs 3 people to register, and then we'll be on Zoom. This would be through voice and seeing each other, and you can enjoy the questions of other people and at the same time your own questions, and the timing would not be 1 hour as the one-on-one Skype chat is. It would be like 2 or 3 hours because it would be a lot more people. So it'd be ample time, but it would be half the price. So having promoted and plugged that in, let's go back to, let's see. All right, let's see what we have here. Scott says, shared the live, encourage more viewers. Oh, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. And fart for love. What the hell is that? Fart for love and profit says Trump rules over this chat. Okay. All right. Let's see what we have, what our YouTube friends have here. Well, we have to now go to YouTube because we have a super chat, and traditionally we're supposed to pay attention to whoever sends super chat to support the channel, and thank you for that. BGN says sends 50 super stickers, and thank you for that. Says, hi there, just wanted to say thank you for your videos. Had to leave my girlfriend of 1.5 years as it was pretty toxic relationship a month ago, and your analysis helped me understand it all and cope. Well, delighted that you shared that with me. I appreciate that. Male 34, Sofia, Bulgaria. Oh my goodness, Bulgaristan. It's a beautiful place, as I hear. I've never had the chance to visit, but hey, who knows? Maybe when the world becomes normal, we can all travel without any jab. Miyamote from India says, I open YouTube and find you live. All right, yeah, I also enjoy finding myself live. Not that. Male 18 from India. Thank you for that. And Miyamoto says, I read books to quit porn. Well, that's good. You replace one activity for one nuisance activity that actually pretty bad stuff. It gives you certain disrespect toward woman. At the same time, it makes it easy for you to get that dopamine from the sexual urges, which makes you lazy to go and actually find a, a woman or a girl that you would be compatible with. And it's antisocial thing. And when you can get it so quickly, you'd have no urges to make anything better than yourself, to better yourself in any way, shape, or form, study better, work better, make more money, have these goals because it's all available. You don't have to do anything for it. As long as you live in your parents' home and you can have some dopamine with just looking at these things. It says, in which author tells you watch too much, you will turn gay. No, you won't turn gay like that. Either gay or you're not gay. But it insensitizes you toward women. You become disrespectful to women. You think every woman they see out there is willing to have sex with you. And it devaluates woman. At the same time, it makes you, as I mentioned, feel lazy to go and pursue a real relationship and live a real life. Stephen is here. Says, hi, Mira. Hello, Stephen. This is male 43 LA. Thank you for that. And yeah, Miyamoto, you have all the videos on YouTube channel, and you know that we've discussed all things. And HOCD is not something that is going to be relevant to you as far as changing you to anything. It's again, as I mentioned, it's the malfunction of the signaling system of the brain. In this case, the caudate nucleus is not shutting down intrusive thoughts, and these images and so on have a glitch that shows up at any age. You could, and it doesn't mean that you're changing your inclination or your sexuality. It just means that's what HOCD is, and you need to use the techniques that are there to rewire the brain to its default setting. Okay, now let's go back to our TikTok friends. Nope says, have you ever been in Slovenia? No, I haven't. I've seen many parts in Europe since childhood, but and I've seen Japan and Hong Kong. I never had the chance to see Slovenia, but I've heard so much about it, and who knows? It would be lovely if I could do that. Mm, User says, any known ways to reduce anxiety without medication? Well, there are ways that you can do. Meditation is one, but there's also another very quick way of reducing anxiety, and that is when you use the pre-Butzinger complex, which is a system of breathing that you breathe normally, as you breathe right now normally. That's using pre-Butzinger complex system of breathing. But unlike other parts of the body, other functions that we have, uh, although breathing is not in your control, it just happens automatically, but you can manipulating it using another system called parafacial nuclei. The name doesn't matter, actually. I'm just trying to show you how smart I am. Otherwise, it's just two different systems. One of them is normal breathing. The other one allows you to manipulate the normal breathing, even when you're not needing to breathe normal. Like when you're crying or when you're laughing, you're still breathing, but you're not breathing as up and down and normally. You're breathing chaotically, but it allows you to do that. That's a parafacial nuclei system that is allow you to do that. So using this parafacial nuclei, you can change the pre-Butzinger complex breathing, and it looks like this. This is what you do for anxiety. Whether you want to go speak somewhere that you feel anxious, or whether you're going to go on a date you feel anxious, whether you're looking to attend to your exam and you feel anxious, This is what you do. You can do it anytime, 1, 2, or 3, or 4 times. And this is how it looks. You breathe in, and then you breathe one on top of it. That's the facial nucleate, allows you to breathe one on top of it. And you hold for a few seconds, and then you let it out of your nose or your mouth slowly. When you finish, you breathe normally again. This is how it's going to look like. Breathe normally. One more time. Normally. Do it with me. You'd be so relaxed. They actually don't give a damn what's going to be happening. It's like you connected to the universal energy and you feel so confident, so invincible, so balanced and calm. And that takes away the anxiety. This is similar to what the psychiatrists do to someone who is deeply depressed, under depression, and they give it an electric shock. And it kind of gives them a chance to come up to the main road. Because anxiety and depression is like you're walking around in a circle on a soft ground. The more you walk, the deeper ditch you're digging, and you go further in and in. You need the chance to jump out of that trench hole and be on the main road. And this breathing gives you a chance to get out of the anxiety and see there's an opportunity, world, and hopes out there. And you bring your balance and resets your system very quickly. All right. Okay, we answered that. All right, we don't have any new question, I don't believe. Thank you, Scott. 25 male Slovenia. Thank you for that. All right, so we don't have any more question here. We have 1,200 likes, no? Or people. I don't know what happens. This Rohail Raja sent TikTok universe. I don't know what that is. I still don't know how to read these things. It says one place says 5 people, one place shows 1,200 people with the heart thing. I don't read it. I don't know what's going on here, but anyhow, thank you. Let's see what our YouTube friends are doing here. We don't have anything on YouTube end. So let's look at what the question says. Are you aware of nootropics? Nootropics, would you recommend? Well, nootropics are pharmaceutical stuff that it enhances. It's a medical substance, medicinal substance, and it's supposed to enhance your intellect or your thinking, um, learning and memory. But these are mostly in the case of when the normal function of that in that person is not happening. I personally don't recommend such things. I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be one, but I prefer you would engage in meditation, learning how to focus. You see, every human being can focus, but you got to train focusing ability in order to be able to do things that you want to accomplish. For example, the power in concentration is not just in concentration. Every human being can concentrate at least to a certain point. The power of concentration is in the duration of ability for the duration of concentration. That means how long can you stay focused? So every human being can focus on something, but the power of focus is in how long can you stay in the staying power in the focus. For example, I have a video on TikTok, I believe. It's 59 seconds. It shows you when I'm doing a demonstration for a group of students in a local university a long time ago, where I'm trying to show the power of mind. And that has to do with how long you can stay focused on certain point that you need to stay focused to create that what I have created. I don't know how to show it here, but if you go on my YouTube channel called The One Point, THE, next word ONE, next word POINT, just the one point as you write it, but space between the words. Uh, and then you just key in amazing power of mind or mind power. You will have many versions of it. One of them is 59 seconds. But you got to do that on my own channel, not on YouTube, because then you see 5 million things that is not what I'm talking about. Go on my channel, The One Point, and then in my search engine, in my channel, put in Amazing Power of Mind or Power of Mind, and you'll see a 59-second portion of the seminar I had in one university, which has covered that. And that is where focusing ability is. You're training yourself there. Your your mind becomes smarter and deeper and more powerful for your studies, for staying focused. Because studies is what? When you don't daydream, you don't deviate from what you want to learn. So that means you got to be able to stay focused, to command your brain, your mind, to pay attention to what you wanted to pay attention, not to wander around. These are all trainings. You got to train the brain. You know, brain is like a Pokemon. You remember the Pokemon game? You had to train them to become what they could become. Otherwise, by itself, human being is not going to be good at something. It's like saying, I can play piano or I can't. No. If you train on and on, the synaptic neurons will create bridges between the two ends of the synaptic neuron. Neurotransmitters will pass through, giving the information how to play piano. The more you play it, the better you become, because the more bridges would be made between the synaptic neurons. So everything that we do, we got to train, and focusing is also one of them. We're not born with focusing. We got to train. That's why meditation is a big, huge help. At the same time, meditation creates GABA, GABA, which is the what is gamma? Um, ah, something, something, something acid. Yeah, I forgot. I will remember it. I will remember it. Butyric acid. Gamma mm, butyric acid. I believe that's what it is. Yeah, that's what I think it is. Uh, let's see what we have on YouTube. um, YouTube. Gamma, what is it? Gamma, gamma aminobutyric acid. And that's responsible for managing intrusive thoughts. So, and you can't really necessarily get GABA through supplements because you apparently can't pass through the brain barrier. So that's why meditation is the way to bring more GABA, which brings more focusing abilities, more calmness, and at the same time, uh, be able to stay focused rather than being deviated by the intrusive thoughts and so on and so forth. Managing intrusive thoughts. All right. Is it normal to go weeks without motivation to talk to girls, etc.? Yeah, sure, why not? Just wanting to focus on yourself. Absolutely, why not? Definitely. Especially in this day and age when girls are just really of not necessarily all of them are good quality. It's all about buying things, getting things, and jumping from this guy to another guy. So you kind of say, okay, fuck it, I don't need that. Until you find someone that is hitting on all cylinders with you in concert. Nope says, I want to tell you how my relationship went, but it's too long to talk about everything. Well, nope, you can go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, make an appointment for us to discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. That's going to cost you, but that's how this business works. I do my consultations through one-on-one appointments. Otherwise, YouTube, with over 3,000 videos I have, is all free for everyone and it's detailed, nothing teaser there. It's not promoting to buy something. It's actually dealing with the topic that the title suggests. And then I have live streams like this, which is again free. But when you want to discuss further and deeper, then you would go on my site, mind@seekstruth.com, and make an appointment for one-on-one Skype consultation chat, and we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. And so we have on YouTube, we have Kateri Choka. Says, okay, I have a question. So I still get this feeling hopeful that she will change and things might turn up better. Hang on, let me follow who you were. 34, Sofia, Bulgaria. All right. That's the one that you broke up 1.5 years relationship, was pretty toxic relationship a month ago, and you analyze, okay, all right. Now you say, I still think, so I still get this feeling, hopeful, that she will change and things might turn up better. Well, okay. How long do you want to wait for that? You're 34 years old, and how old is she? She's probably in similar age, maybe. Oh, you're okay. Yeah, are you 34? Yeah, you're 34 years old. So how long you want to wait for that? And if she hasn't changed until now, what do you think is going to make her change? For you, I bet you if she's a toxic girl, she hasn't had a good relationship with someone decent for a long time. It's all been eventually let her go, or she had to go, or whatever. So if she hasn't done that for herself, the changing, I think she's going to do it for you. For what reason? Unless you're a millionaire, and many girls are after money, so there would be motivation for them to behave. And as soon as you run out of money, they become who they were. You got to find someone who actually wants to have a certain behavior and mentality and interaction abilities and standards for herself, because that's her persona is, not for something. So you will be satisfied. That would be like acting for a while, and eventually she gets tired of it and burst out, and things will never work. And then you guys will talk it over for a while. It will work because you're both cautious to keep all the good things and to be compromising. But eventually, your personality, how you've been conditioned in your consciousness, the content of your consciousness, will come out and you behave the way that is not complementary to a relationship, or as your partner would hope that it would be, and things are, back to say the square one. So you want to do that, I think, because you're running on your desire for pleasure, and maybe she's a looker and you miss that sex and all that, and you think all the good things about her, because that's what the brain does. Brain always has the propensity toward thinking about the good part of the relationship, because that's what we are. Our brain is set to forget pain. If it wasn't the case, the women who would get pregnant and go through excruciating pain to give birth, they would never want to be pregnant again. But 2 months later, they're ready to get pregnant. Why? Because they don't remember the pain. They forget about the pain and focus on the good things. And we do that the same. So you in relationship, you do the same thing. You're focusing on the good things of the relationship, and you say, why did I break up? I bet you she can be fine. It's no big deal. I mean, there's so many good things about it. And you're willing to sacrifice all the bad times to get some of the good times. Why? Because the good times gives you pleasure and dopamine and oxytocin. So therefore, you are willing to sacrifice some, but you don't remember that that sacrifice that you're saying you're willing to do, it's pretty much most of the time in order to get that little bit. And then again, you come to the same conclusion that you've come now, because nothing has changed. Your mentality and your hopefulness is encouraging you to go back. But she hasn't changed just because you thought of her differently, compassionately, lovingly. So you will come to the same conclusion. So the problem in relationships is not what you go through in the relationships only. The problem of the relationship starts at the selection process. When you don't select well, you choose a girl because she's got it all, smile, looks, hair, body, butt, boobs, legs, and all that. If you choose her because of the aesthetics, um, there's a scientific word for it, which I try to express here, and some people think it's French, but you're fucked when you, when you actually focus on the aesthetics and don't consider that the relationship happens in the consciousness level. You may like each other's looks and aesthetics, but that's an invitation to get to know each other's contents of the consciousness. And during the time of honeymoon, when you're all, infatuated by each other's sexuality and looks and novelty, you have time to experience each other's consciousness compatibility. If you don't do that, and you won't be able to compromise, you won't be able to come to values and understanding and bring to some kind of a synchronization, which is impossible totally at all, but some kind of understanding between your consciousness to tolerate each other and find compatibility there, that whatever it is your relationship based on, the sexuality and all that, will fade away after a while. It's not the glue that's going to hold the relationship. Relationship happens here, love happens here, and all that means selecting the basis of standards that are compatible, or at least can be amalgamated to a certain level. But if you're just going for the looks and that's your motivation, you may get a lot of surprises that you didn't expect. All right. Yeah, that's all right. You get that feeling. It's the same feeling you get from your exes, that you think about, oh, why did I break up? She was so nice, because you only think about the selected pleasurable moments. Selected pleasurable moments are not the entirety of a relationship, but it's enough to entice you to trigger the desire file that is recorded in your consciousness to flip open. And once the desire file opens, because you're focusing on the good things about that relationship, and the prerequisite for desires to be born isn't the desire file that is just triggered, and brain cannot understand the difference between virtuality and actuality. So when it's triggered, the file in here, the prerequisites are met already because it's recorded in the memory, and the brain thinks you desire her again. Then you start thinking and trying to pursue your old girlfriend or this one, and so on and so forth, which is a disaster. You just believe in what you did. My professor at university, I remember Dr. Ferris, at one point in one of the classes says, at the time one makes a decision, one believes that that decision is correct. In other words, if you didn't think that your decision is correct, you wouldn't do it unless you're insane. If you're a normal and balanced person, the decisions that you're making, you believing that that decision is correct. That's why you're making it. So you had reasons to make this decision to break up with her. And those reasons didn't come about in one day. It was accumulating over probably months, and you've been seeing all things, and it couldn't be fixed. You couldn't fix it. She couldn't fix it. You tried, probably, I'm sure, and it didn't work. And eventually came to that decision. Now that they have made the decision, you're now missing the vacuum, missing the things that it was good about her, and you're only focusing on that, which triggers the desire file, and you desire her again while you shouldn't, because you had the reason to break up. Stick with it. And won't stand any BS says, where have you been? Oh, I've been around. How come? You let me know, won't stand any BS, your age, gender, where you're tuning in from. I'd appreciate that. Now, let's see if we have any question here. Elk says, just got here, but I know this guy is spitting. All right, spitting. I'm not familiar with that, guys. It's a slang some kind. I don't know if it's a compliment or derogatory. So either way, you're free to say what you want to say. Pre-recorded, I think. No, it's not pre-recorded, man. What are you talking about? Justice. If it was pre-recorded, how could I read your name here? And Jay joined. And Anthony Leo. I don't have any live stream that was pre-recorded ever. And I have thousands of live streams. And TikTok is new to me. Okay, and Nope says, I want to talk. Okay, we talked about that one. And the user 5760519 says, OCD seems to blind you from reality. Any tips for staying grounded and having faith in treatment? You don't have to have faith in treatment. You got to do the treatment. And treatment is the easiest one, is Dr. Schwartz 4-step. And again, on my YouTube channel, mind@seekstruth.com is my site, and on YouTube channel, the one point is if you go on my site and in the search engine of my own channel, not site, my channel, you type in 4 steps. Dr. Schwartz 4 steps comes in the form of video. I've described what Dr. Schwartz talks about it and the steps, how to implement it, and that can help you with getting rid of and helping to rewire your brain for OCD versus, against OCD. Spitting. I don't know. Did you actually get my spit on your face or anything, Elk? What do you mean I'm spitting? What the hell are you talking about? All right. So we don't have any new questions here. All right. Let's look at the YouTube. All right. We have, again, we have Katerik Choka, another BGN 50 super sticker. Thank you for that. I really don't know what that 50 super sticker means, but whatever it is, thank you for appreciation and attention to the channel. I hope you're enjoying it. And Kateri Cholka says, very well put. Thank you. We'll try and work out on this. Okay, good. Let's see what we have here. We don't have anything new. Oh, it says, User 57 says, spitting means you're saying smart stuff, Lolo. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Okay, then let's go back to the one who said it and thank him for the compliment. There it is. Where is it? Where did he go? Okay, he's not here anymore. Must be somewhere. All right. All right. Okay. I don't find him. I guess he's not here anymore. I'm not spitting anymore, I guess. And he was saying, you are a smart man. You're spitting out facts out of him. Oh, thank you very much again, Justice. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. I want to know, Justice. Oh, there it is. So you now know it's not pre-recorded. You were the one who made that. And so we have user 576 says depression seems to make it hard to enjoy things. Any tips? Yes. First of all, I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be one. So talk to your doctor. Make sure that you're examined to what degree of depression is, and if you need to, give a blood test to find out if it's any chemical imbalance there. Is it clinically depressed or just depressed like most of us get depressed one day for an hour or 2 days, whatever, depending on what kind of shit we go through. But however, you need to bring hope to yourself, more hopefulness. For that, you need calmness so the intrusive thoughts and negative thoughts will not be, buggering into your mentality, your daily routine, or whatever it is you want to accomplish. And so, meditation is a very good way to connect yourself to the bigger power. Often we feel depressed because we feel hopeless. Uh, the job is not good, or the girlfriend has left, or we don't feel the love that we need, or unfairness is happening, or some chemical imbalance. That's another story for itself. But when you think that you're connected to the universe, to the nature, whatever you want to call it, if you're religious, you can pray. When you connect yourself to a bigger power, that you believe that bigger power, then you don't feel lonely. When you don't feel lonely, you feel you have support, you have backing. And when you feel that way, you feel fuzzy and you feel confident. And that confidence brings about your hopefulness and takes away that depression. Plus the fact that you need to do exercise to your level, to your fitness level, to bring that dopamine in, to increase serotonin, dopamine, and you bring that happiness feeling. And many people make a mistake when they're depressed. They go after getting dopamine to feel happy, feeling that will get them out of depression. You see, pleasure is dopamine. Happiness that you're after is serotonin. So by mistake, even if you Google it, they interchange these words, happiness and pleasure. They think of it the same. But pleasure is attainable, is purchasable, and you can keep wanting more. But happiness, you can't buy it. And when you're happy, you're happy. There's no more than that. It's just happy. So therefore, it's very safe for you, where pleasure hunting to get out of depression is problematic, because then you want more dopamine and more dopamine and more dopamine, and you get addicted to whatever it is. Why? Listen to me carefully. Because when synaptic neurons are stimulated hard and often, they die. In order for them not to die, they have a program, they downregulate, meaning when they see they're being stimulated long and hard, they downregulate their numbers so they won't die. They become less available to you. So, what happens when the receptors are now less than it was? For you to get the high that you got from that drug or that activity, you now have to double that or make more of that substance because the number of receptors to receive that to create dopamine is less. So you got to give them more to get the same amount of dopamine. And when that happens, they downregulate again to the point that you keep putting more and they downregulate to put more to downregulate to the point there would be a time that there would be no receptors left and you overdose yourself in order to get that high. You never get it. That's when you're addicted because they're downregulated to survive and not die. And you don't know, you keep giving it more to get that high that you got at the beginning. It's not happening and you're now addicted. So going after pleasure to get out of depression is a fatal move. You need to meditate, exercise to bring that natural way of dopamine, the oxytocin, seeing friends and socializing, feeling protected or supported, and the serotonin, and you end up feeling more hopeful, more supported, and connect yourself through meditation with some extraordinary powers, whether it's your religion, your beliefs, or your meditation, connecting yourself to the universe and nature, whatever, energy, and that will help you to get moving out of the depression. Of course, uh, the exercise for anxiety is also very good that we talked about, and many other things. But meditation is very important for that. The user says, so you're saying to be happy, don't try and become happy, if you understand what I mean. No, I'm not saying don't be happy. I'm saying don't think you can become happy by pursuing pleasure. Pleasure gives you more dopamine. But for happiness, you don't need dopamine, you need serotonin, which means being content to something, liking something, not purchasing that pleasure feeling, creating that through some accomplishment, I don't know, some other things that you find that makes you happy and so on. And Justice says, I have post-traumatic syndrome. Is that what it is? Agoraphobia, huh? Let's see if you have any YouTube. I'll be right with you. I don't want to neglect my YouTube friends. Mhm. Okay, let's see. What happened to my YouTube friends? Oh, there's one here. Zelitko Babic. Ah, you must be from. Are you from? Herzegovina. Are you from Herzegovina? Maybe. Let's see. Am I right? Says hi. The one point. Before 2 years, my ex. Ah, Croatia. Okay, close. I was close. Says before 2 years, my ex left me, and she take our 2-year-old son. Before 2 years, you mean 2 years ago? Your ex took your 2-year-old boy. It means you were at least together 4 years. Son with her. Now she have new man. Oh fuck. Yeah, but I still think that I love her. I feel guilty for divorce. Any advice? You see, Zelchko, am I pronouncing it right or I'm butchering your name? I don't know the story. I don't know what went on with you guys. I don't know what caused the divorce. I don't know who asked for divorce. I don't know who pushed the divorce. I don't know who did what. So if you like, you go on my site, mind.seekstruth.com, mind.seekstruth.com. Make an appointment for our chat on Skype and we'll discuss what's concerning you in detail, one-on-one on Skype. And remember, if you're a new client and you make an appointment on Skype for 1 hour chat, I'll add 30 minutes more so we don't have to rush. And we'll go through it very gently and slowly get to know the facts and stories of your life and so on. Says, I'm 99% sure that I can't be, don't want with her after she have now new man. But this stupid emotion is still here. In I'm from Croatia. But I'm sorry for to hear that anyway, but however, it's not necessarily that you miss her. Look, you miss the order of life. You see, we're all looking for security. You find security, physical security, in a physically safe environment. Physically safe environment. Like I'm here sitting here, the door is locked. I'm in good part of town. I'm in safe physical environment, so I physically feel safe. But I also need psychological security. But mind, I call mind and brain the same for this discussion, but mind and brain are different. Mind doesn't find security the same way that the body finds security. Mind finds security in order of things, not in safe environment, physical environment. And the order of things are the things that you used to do from the time you would wake up. You would do this or that, have coffee or tea, or you would talk to your wife or text your wife or your girlfriend, however it was. You would do certain things during the day, go to your work and then go to the gym or meet each other here and there. That is the routine that you create through mechanical process, the things that you do during your day, mechanical process. You create a routine. That routine ends up creating, forming your order. Your brain is occupied by the things that you got to do in that order. And through that order, your brain finds security. Now, when you break up with her, and if you don't replace it with new things you want to learn, new things you want to do, new girlfriend, new hobbies, and so on, you don't create a new order. So you don't have an order. And the brain cannot find security because in your actual life, there is no order anymore. It used to be two people to create that order. One of them is gone, and the other one hasn't replaced all these things that needs for a good order to be rebuilt again. Therefore, the brain, the mind, doesn't have an order, but still needs the order. Where does it go to find the order? In the memory, because everything is recorded. We record things 24/7. Everything is recorded in the memory. It goes in there. The recording of the order is there, so it finds security in that order because the brain doesn't understand a difference between virtuality and actuality. So it's in the memory, it thinks it's real. So it finds security in that unreal memory that it thinks it's real. But while it's in the memory, who else is there? Part of the memory is your ex. When it sees the X in the memory, naturally that triggers the desire file. And there are certain steps needs to be taken, prerequisite to desire to be born, that is also recorded in that file. So when the file is open, the desire prerequisite to desire is also met already because it's recorded. There was a time that you had to meet those criteria and you did, it's recorded. So it opens up the prerequisite seems to the brain that is already met, it starts desiring your ex-wife again or ex-girlfriend again. So that's what you're missing, the order. Now, the key is to create a new order if you haven't. New hobbies, new things you want to learn, I don't know, new wife or new girlfriend, and create that order. And then eventually over a certain time, your brain gets used to finding that order in the actual life. So it doesn't need to go to the memory anymore to find the recorded order. and stays in the actual life with the actual real order that you're engaged in. And no longer you go into the memory, you don't see her there, and you don't desire her. That would be end of that. So it's not that you're really desiring her, you're missing her, you're missing the order of your life. All right. Justice says, what's some advice for a healthy relationship? Well, it's lots of things that we can discuss, but in short, I say make the best choice according to your standards, expectations, and content of your consciousness in the selection process. Not after you chose and try to fix this, make things happen as you thought it. You already know what kind of person you are. You already know what kind of woman you want. You already know what kind of things you can tolerate, not tolerate. Find someone closest to all those criteria at the selection, at the outset. But if you're just intoxicated by her beauty or sexuality, and that's what you need, so you're looking at her and choosing your mate based on the eye of, with the eye of the need, with the eye of the need. I say again, with the eye of the need. That's when you fuck up, because our need is, we all know what our need is, and if that's what we're focused on, that's what we're going to get. And when you get that which you chose only because you had urges and you had need for companionship, for hugs and kisses and sex, then you got that. But you really didn't get what you needed in reality to make it work. And that was the content of consciousness, that you didn't spend time to choose well the background, the upbringing, all these other things that, no two people are exactly the same or even close to be the same in the conscious level, let alone if you don't even focus or have some kind of compatibility, at least to begin with. And then you compromise and try to do your best to make that happen. Let me see. I never had the tea there. Interesting. Okay. All right. So we come back to Justice. Justice says, I have post-traumatic syndrome, agoraphobia, and an anxiety disorder. What helped me was cold baths, exercise, and breathing. Excellent. Excellent. Cold bath increases the neurotransmitters that is necessary for you to calm yourself, and everything resets, and dopamine is secreted, and so your hopefulness and your outlook changes, and that's good. Anxiety goes away. And exercise and breathing, of course, breathing is very important. And so I guess yeah, and we answered the other one. Justice, cold bath. Okay. All right, guys, looks like, let's see if I answered everybody here. Roger Heisler Jr. says, rocking the oldies. Okay, says, good morning, Meran. Good morning, Roger. And Zelichko Babbage says, yes, your answer is 100% true. Thank you. You're quite welcome. My pleasure. Floor Title or Floor Tiles says, hey, I want to say thank you. Your video on recognizing the thoughts as intrusive and labeling it as HOCD, then reminding yourself you're not the brain and you're in control, helped me a lot today. I thank you very much for sharing that with me. I appreciate that. All these videos, especially I have this video called You're Not the Brain, or yeah, you're not the brain, brain is not you, something like that. Or are you the brain, or you are you, some weird title like that. And that's a 45-minute video. It talks about the philosophy of Aristotle from I think Socrates, from 1,000 years ago, in regarding dualism and materialism. And then we come to modern science, and we see that modern science through neuroscience have proven and accepted what was Aristotle talking about in regards to dualism and materialism. And we cover every era, and through the experiments that Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, and Dr. Leibet in their laboratories have done, their Nobel Prize echelon of research they've done, proves beyond the shadow of the doubt that you're not the brain and brain is not you, as Aristotle was talking about 1,000 years ago. Now, the modern science have been able to prove it beyond the shadow of the doubt. And that could be something interesting. You might get bored if you watch it all at the same time, but then you can watch 15 minutes of it, and then next day or the same afternoon, you can watch another 15 minutes. And that way, there's lots of information that it was all put together by Dr. Egnar, which I enhanced it with some other information that I could have. And then we have this very important video. And there are many other videos that proves to you beyond the shadow of the doubt. And that's my work, using the science out there that shows you you're not the brain and brain. And I've proven it to you on different videos. And if we have a real live and we have a bunch of people getting together on Zoom, we can discuss all these live. But for now, you have the videos, and you can see that how quantum physics has helped us to see that you're not the brain, you're outside the brain, and brain is not you, you're not the brain. And at the same time, other videos that I've produced that shows that because you're not the brain, when you become a witness to the brain's activity, brain behaves. As I have shown in one of my videos, when the scientists wanted to know what happens when the electron gun is fired, and why is it that when it goes through one slit of an iron plate, it has one line behind the iron plate on the wall, but if they put two slits, then suddenly it's no longer two line, it's a lot more than that. And they wanted to know what's happened, so they put a measuring device, a witness, a watcher. As soon as they did that, the electrogun going through both of them, they were just two line. They behaved. They just knew something is watching because something was watching. They did not do what they usually do, going out of whack. Now, the same thing exists with the brain. When you actually look for thought, do it now with me. Do it now with me. I want you to do exactly as I ask you. Close your eyes, and however you imagine the real estate of your brain is, if it's a place with lots of rocks, you got to look on the different nooks and crannies, on the different rocks, on different rooms, or if it's room by room, look every room, every corner. Look for a thought being born. Look for a thought taking shape. While you're looking under this rock or in this flower or in this corner of a room, however you want to imagine your brain compartments are, you go every nook and cranny of the brain and look for a thought. Just look for a thought. Just look every corner, every part that you think. If it's neurons, you look. If it's compartments, you look. Well, however you think the real estate of your brain is, keep looking every corner of what you imagine your brain looks like, and look for a thought. You can't find any thoughts. There is no thoughts. When you look for thought, mind becomes quiet. No thoughts. Why? Because you're the watcher. You're the instrument. You're not part of the brain. You're outside of the brain. And brain says, oh, there's somebody's watching me. I should behave. The same as the experiments that they did in the quantum physics laboratory in regards to that electron gun and all that. I have all those videos. You can check it out in detail. I just shortened everything. So when you realize that you're not the brain, brain is not you, you've got a big step in managing whatever it is that's bugging you as far as OCD and the rest of it, intrusive thoughts and whatnot. Yeah, well, it does justice. Unlike your name, there's no justice. So that's why. And the user 576 says, can anxiety cause you to break from reality? Well, you become scared and fearful and negative about everything. So you start kind of cozying up to somewhere it's kind of not be part of things. And that's the extent I think it would be. But why should you even allow anxiety to rule you? Why don't you rule anxiety? Say, just fuck off. Let the anxiety be anxiety. Let it get you anxious as much as you can. See what happens at the end. Nothing. It's just your fear that gives energy and life to anxiety. Your thoughts that buys into the anxiety signals and says, oh, there's a danger, something. But in fact, look, as long as there is an anxiety, that means everything is hunky-dory. Nothing bad has happened. Why? Because if anxiety or the panic attack was real, the fear was real, you would be engaged to dealing with what has happened that has caused the anxiety. But when there is anxiety, that means nothing has happened, because if it had happened, you wouldn't have anxiety. You would be busy dealing with whatever it was. You have an anxiety if you think, oh, the barn is going to catch fire, be careful. But if the barn is actually on fire, you wouldn't have anxiety. You would be busy getting buckets of water and trying to put the fire out. So whenever anxiety shows up, you can be sure nothing bad has happened. Because if it did, you'd be busy dealing with it. But you have anxiety, that means it hasn't happened. So that's a way kind of to diminish this bullshit anxiety that causes all of us trouble, gives us all kind of things, like, you owe taxes, what if they come and take my money? Well, the fact that you're worrying about it, that means they haven't. That means that's why you can relax. So that could be maybe something you can think about. All right, Shamrock is here. All right, guys, it's been an hour and 17 minutes. And let's see what questions we have here. Florentine says, the video I watched was called HOCD and How to Get Intrusive Thoughts and Images Out of Your Head. It was 22 minutes, but it was very helpful. Well, glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you for sharing that. Says, were you a psychiatrist or neurologist? No, actually, I'm not. I have no medical credentials. Everything that I know is by my research. I loved it. I understood it. I tried to understand it. I have studied discussions about the inner movement of the psyche, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego of masters of 100 years ago. And I've studied the neuroscientists and their experiments, and I've tried to gather information, called lectures and interviews of scholars for God knows how many years I did that. And so I was able to deliver in such a way that the layman could understand the things that would be hard to understand in regards to thoughts, what is thinking, what is thoughts, what is consciousness, what is the relationship between two, what about fear, where does it come from, what about desire, where does this come from, what are the prerequisites for desire, what about ego, and all these plus the neuroscience end of it, the OCD part of it, and understanding all that in different tangents of neuroscientific tangents and philosophical point of views. And then I was able to use them to deliver points to help people to understand what's rather challenging to understand sometimes in an easier way, a language. And it's been very helpful. Unfortunately, my channel is not easily found. We should have had, by the testimonies that I get from many clients and many subscribers, we should have 2-3 million subscribers. We only have 28,000 because somehow I'm doing something wrong. The tags, I don't know how to do it. And so the videos are hardly found. But when somebody finds them, you have all kinds of them and they swear by it. So do me a favor and visit the YouTube channel, The One Point, and just subscribe and click on the bell. So if I go live, you guys come on, watch it. And that's where we can generate some support by you guys watching it, and the channel makes some money so we can, reach more people and help more people by the advertisement, activities, better equipment, and so on and so forth. So having said that, He says, I don't understand how your brain can break so many different ways. Yeah, it does, because brain is not you, you're not the brain. Brain is an organ. Brain is an organ, just like your kidneys, just like your liver, just like your intestine. I mean, you're okay with, you understand when they break down and you try to fix them, repair them, but you don't think brain is not you. You never had this brain until 40,000 years ago. There was a you before this brain was added on top and developed to be the way it is, which is hell broke loose. Because as far as much as it helps us to invent things, learn things, create things, produce things, and so on and so forth, it also has so many malfunctions that really messes us up. Intrusive thoughts, inclination, challenges, and ideas that come and go, negative thoughts, repetitive thoughts, craziness makes us go nuts. That's all because it's an incomplete added apparatus that through time it developed to this point. It's still it's still uh, work in progress. So it's not complete and it has all kind of glitches. But there was a me before my brain and me together, before this organ. That's when we were like animals. We were living instinctively. And that's when we didn't have much problem. We had other problems, but we didn't have this problem, meaning we had no intrusive thoughts. We had no OCD. We had no gender inclination of different kind. We had no question about that. There was none of that because these are all brain, which is thought-induced problems, challenges. So in fact, thoughts are the roots of all problems. And we didn't have these until 40,000 years ago when we were blessed with this brain. So having said that, I think it's time for us to end our, what is it, live stream. And I can have my tea and maybe do some editing or maybe watch a video and movie or something. Hit the sack. It's about 1:31 here, exactly 1:31 a.m. here in Vancouver. I don't know where most of you guys are located, but I wish you well wherever you are. And it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself. And to the others, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind that seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.